Good day everyone. We are the next group and we are here to discuss what is a literature review or mas kilala bilang review of related literature or RRL. Dito sa topic na to madidiscuss namin ng what is a literature review, conceptual research framework, research literature, and referencing. Ano nga ba tong literature review? At a basic level, the term implies a survey of factual or non-fiction books, articles, and other documents published on a particular subject. Meaning ito yung it is a fact or totoo na books, articles, or other documents published on a specific subject or a particular subject. Pero generally speaking, a literature review is a comprehensive background of the literature within the interested topic area. Or ito yung comprehensive background about sa topic area or specific topic na gusto mong pag-aralan or gawa ng research paper or ng thesis nga. And it is a critical component of the research process that provides an in-depth analysis of recently published research findings in specifically identified areas of interest. Same sa una, it is a critical component or it is an important component ng research process na nagbibigay siya ng in-depth analysis or analyzation about sa recently published na research findings sa research papers na naka-align or naka-focus sa area of interest or sa topic na gusto mo or topic na interested ka. And it is a written document that presents a logically argued case founded on a comprehensive understanding of the current state of knowledge about a topic of study. So it is a written document na logically, which means factual, kaya nga yung sinabi kanina, factual and non-fiction na nagbibigay ng deeper meanings or ng comprehensive understanding about doon sa current state of knowledge ng topic na interest or identified areas of interest. As a foundation of knowledge, for knowledge advancement in every discipline, it is an important element of any research project. Alam naman natin kasi yung senior high pa lang tayo ay nung pinagawa na tayo ng baby thesis or research paper, alam naman natin yung importance ng RRL kasi ito yung basis or ito yung nagbibigay ng foundation sa ginagawa nating research paper, diba? At the graduate or doctoral level, the literature review is an essential feature of thesis and dissertation as well as grant proposal writing. That is to say, a substantive, true, sophisticated literature review is a precondition for doing substantive, true, and sophisticated research. A researcher cannot perform significant research without first understanding the literature in the field. Just so yun nga, hindi naman magiging firm or solid yung research natin kung hindi natin napag-aralan or wala tayong knowledge about sa literature na naka-align or hindi naman sa familiar, para siyang nasa loob ng topic na pinag-aaralan natin. Isa rin sa rason kung bakit kailangan natin ng solid or factual na firm na review literature kasi ito rin is mas nagiging credible yung research natin sa mga taong magbabasa or sa audience na makakakita ng ating research paper. Parang nagbibigay ito ng credibility sa research paper na gagawin natin or sa thesis. A graduate level literature review is a compilation of the most significant previously published research on your topic. So yun a graduate level na literature review. Ang literature review is a compilation or summarization siya ng mga most significant previously published research paper or yung mga research paper na align talaga at importante or kailangan talaga isama sa ating research paper, kasi kung wala ang mga ito, parang mawawala ng foundation yung research paper natin. Unlike an annotated bibliography or a research paper you may have written as an undergraduate, your literature review will outline, evaluate, and synthesize relevant research and relate those sources to your own thesis or research question. So yun nga, kailangan natin tong literature review so that our research paper or research question will have an synthesis na na research paper, or kasi through this literature review magiging solid or magkakameron ng parang nagiging isa siya sa steps to create a research paper, kasi dito maaaral natin yung mga bagay na align sa ating research. It is much more than a summary of all the related literature, or hindi lang siya summary, may deeper meaning, kasi nga through this literature review magkakameron tayo ng knowledge or magkakameron ng foundation yung research paper natin. It is a type of writing that demonstrates the importance of your research by defining the main ideas and relationships between them. A good literature review lays the foundation for the importance of your stated problem and research question. So, literature reviews do the following. So, yung una is, it define a concept. Dapat nagde-define ng concept yung literature review na connected or aligned sa ating topic. Tapos, map the research terrain or scope. Then, systemize relationships between concept, and it identifies the gaps in the literature. In the context of a research study, ang purpose ng literature review is it demonstrate that our research question is meaningful, or additionally, you may review the literature of different disciplines to find a deeper meaning and understanding of your topic. It is especially important to consider other disciplines when you do not find much on your topic in one discipline. So yun nga, pag medyo nahirapan tayo maghanap ng related literature sa ating topic, hindi lang dapat tayo mag-stay sa isang disciplines. Kailangan maghanap din tayo sa ibang discipline, pero dapat align pa din yung discipline na yon sa topic natin. For example, electrical engineer, dapat in terms of engineering pa din. You will need to research the cognate literature before claiming there is little previous research on your topic. So the literature review is an iterative process because you will do at least 2 of them. Ibig sabihin, ito ay paulit-ulit na process. Hindi mo siya gagawin ng isa lang or isang literature review. Kailangan at least 2 of them. A preliminary search to learn that has been published in your area and whether there is a sufficient support in the literature for moving ahead with your subject. So yun nga, kailangan makahanap ka or makahanap ka ng literature review na magbibigay siya ng sufficient support. Dapat is connected sa area na pinag-aaralan mo or yung research topic mo, so that for moving ahead with your subject. After this exploration, you will conduct a deeper dive into the literature to learn everything you can about the topic and its related issues. An effective literature review must methodologically analyze and synthesize quality literature on a topic. Ibig sabihin, dapat yung literature review natin is synthesize, meaning meron siyang combination ng mga literature or related literature that is connected to our topic, which is quality over quantity. Tapos, provide a firm foundation to a topic or research area. Ibig sabihin, dapat nagbibigay yung related literature natin ng firm foundation to a topic or research area, meaning dapat solid or konkreto yung natin, review ng related literature. And it provides a firm foundation for the selection of a research methodology, and it demonstrates that the proposed research contributes something new to the overall body of knowledge of advances the research field's knowledge base, or nagbibigay dapat yung literature review natin ng it can propose na yung topic natin is magbibigay ng something new, or magbibigay siya ng dagdag advancement sa ating research field na pinagdadaanan natin or tinatahak natin. All literature reviews, whether they are qualitative, quantitative, or both, will at some point introduce the topic and define its key terms, establish the importance of the topic, provide an overview of the amount available literature and its types, for example, theoretical, statistical, speculative. It identifies gaps in the literature. It points out consistent findings across studies, arrive at a synthesis that organizes what is known about the topic, and it discusses possible implications and directions for future research. So to summarize, the purpose of a literature review is to gain an understanding about of the existing research and debates relevant to a particular topic or area of study, and to present that knowledge in the form of a written report, which is fact or non-fiction. And conducting a literature review helps you build your knowledge in your field.
So now pupunta naman po tayo sa conceptual research framework. So ano nga ba ang conceptual research framework? A conceptual research framework is built using existing literature and studies from which inferences can be drawn. Studies conducted to reduce the existing knowledge gap on a particular topic and make relevant and reliable information available. So ang conceptual research framework ay importante sapagkat natutulungan po nito na maihiwalay po yung mga irrelevant information based on a previous research to focus or prioritize the relevant or the most important information in our research. Importante po to para po maiwasan po yung mga hindi naman kailangan po sa isang research. So the following steps can be taken in order to create a conceptual research framework. Unang-una po is define a topic for research. The first step in the framework is to clearly define the topic of your research. Most researchers will pick a topic relating to their field of expertise. The next one is collect and organize relevant research. As conceptual research relies on pre-existing studies and literature, researchers must collect all relevant information relating to their topic. It's important to use reliable sources and data from scientific journals or research papers that are well reputed. As conceptual research doesn't employ the use of practical experimentation, the importance of analyzing reliable, fact-based studies is reinforced. The next step is identify variables for the research. These variables will be yardstick by which inferences will be drawn. They give new scope to the research and also help identify how different variables may be affecting the topic of research. So, very important yung identifying variables for the research para malaman natin kung ano ba yung kailangang i-differentiate na variable or kailangang ilagay na variable or kailangang itukoy na variable ng isang research. Lastly, create the framework. The final step is to create the research framework using relevant literature, variables, and any other relevant material. The main question or problem statement of the research becomes your research framework. So, isang example dito ng isang conceptual research ay yung book ni Thomas Malthus na pinamagatang An Essay on the Principle of Population. Dun sa book niya, theorize niya that due to disease, famine, war, and or calamity, the human population would stop expanding. So, yung theory niya ay binase lang naman niya sa observation ng growth ng human population and growth ng food production. Doon, in-state niya rin na yung human population was increasing geometrically, while food production only increased arithmetically. So, based from this, binase niya na mas malaki yung pagtaas, mas mabilis yung pagtaas ng tao, ng population ng tao compared dun sa growth ng food production. So, basically, naging theory niya dito is mauubusan tayo ng food production. He used existing population and food statistics to draw this conclusion. Based on this information, he made that assumption that the humans would eventually be unable to produce enough food to sustain themselves. So, tama nga naman, kung yun lang yung iisipin mong variable. But for many reasons, Malthus' theory was flawed. One of the most prominent reasons being that the technological advancement weren't taken into account, likely due to the age in which his research was conducted. So, katulad ng sinabi ko kanina, yung identifying variables of the research was very important. So, because from this example, nalaman natin na hindi niya na take hindi niya na take as na take for granted niya yung technology. So dahil dun sa kamalian niya na yon, yung theory niya is naging flawed. Technological developments and global interconnectedness allowed for a massive increase in food production and stimulated the flow of food from country to country. So nagkaroon ng trading, ng advancement sa technology. Kaya mas lumago yung food natin. Although yung resources hindi ganoon ka laki, yung advancement natin sa technology is malaking tulong siya para mas mapalago or mas maparami yung food production. Next is advantages of conceptual research. Unang-una, requires few resources in comparison to other forms of market research where practical experimentation is required. This saves times and resources. Pangalawa, is a convenient form of research as this form of research only requires the evaluation of existing literature. It proves to be a relatively convenient form of research. So yung advantages ng conceptual research is yun nga convenient form of research siya kasi ang pagbabasehan mo lang naman is yung mga pre-existing research na. So basically hindi mo na kailangang maghalungkat pa ng iba pang irrelevant information. So dun ka lang halos babase, which is ipo-point out mo lang or ipaprioritize mo lang yung mga relevant informations dun sa pre-existing research. So, and next is for the disadvantages of conceptual research. Questionable reliability and validity. Theories based on existing literature rather than experimentation and observation draw conclusions that are less fact-based and may not necessarily be considered reliable. Next is subject to increased error or subjectivity. Oftentimes we see philosophical theories being countered or revised because their conclusions are inferences drawn from existing texts rather than practical experimentation. So yun nga, yung unang-una nga is hindi siya questionable reliability and validity because sa conceptual research, bumabase lang tayo sa isang existing literature. So, we don't use experimentation and observation. So, we are referring or supporting from a less fact bias based literature. And yung sa second nga is yung subject is to increase error or subjectivity. So may time na yung philosophical theories are being countered or revised like yung Copernicus na yung concept niya na yung sun is the center of the whole universe, not just the solar system, but we prove it wrong based on observation and experimentation using technology and stuff. So dun siya nagiging flawed. Next is we've already understood conceptual research. But what is empirical research? Empirical research, unlike conceptual research, is based on experimentation rather than theory. Researchers using empirical research gather information on their subject using quantitative or qualitative methods and use this data to make fact-based conclusions. So, sa empirical research, pinagbabasihan talaga nito is more on experimentation. So, originally, they conduct experiments, quantitative or qualitative methods and use those data to make fact-based conclusion. The following table lists additional key differences between conceptual and empirical research. So, from conceptual research, it relates to abstract ideas or concepts, does not involve practical experimentation, and lastly, used extensively in philosophical research. So, sa empirical research naman, relies on verifiable evidence found through observation and or experimentation. Involves practical experimentation and conclusions are based on observable, measurable phenomena. Includes both quantitative and qualitative studies, and it is used extensively in scientific research among other fields. So yun, in general, they are clearly different from each other, but the modern scientific method is known to rely on combination of empirical and conceptual research rather than just one of them, because the empirical research helps them to experiment and observe the fact-based information, and the conceptual research helps them to make to gather informations from pre-existing researches. For the next topic, magtungo naman tayo ngayon sa research literature.
So, good day everyone. I am here to present these topics, research literature and literature review. First, I am Carl Brian B. Sumalpong from BSEE 3-1. So, to begin, in order to furthermore understand the review of related literature, we are going to discuss its components. So, these components shape the framework of the review of related literature. In other words, the review of related literature depends on these topics and such as research literature. So, as it is being described here, research literature in any field is all the published research in that field. To elaborate, research literature are sets of information that are being used for the objective of the research, whether it is a engineering research, psychological research, quantitative, qualitative, experimental, etc. So these sets of information are being used as a guide or the key to in order to understand the objectives of the research. So under the engineering field, it includes millions of scholarly articles and books dating to the beginning of the field, and it continues to grow, meaning the scope of the research literature can be dated back way back to the past and until now. So it means, but the validity of this research literature in accordance to its time but also varies. So it is also important to be time bound on the types of research literature that will be gathered by the researchers. So the research literature have many kinds of types. So the most commonly known are the professional journals. As it is being described here, are periodicals that publish original research articles. There are thousands of professional journals that publish research in engineering and related fields. So as for the professional journals, these are the commonly most used for in any kinds of research. So for us engineering courses, the professional journals that will be commonly used are also engineering journals related. So before, these journals are commonly found on institutions such as libraries, schools, and etc. But now, these can also be found online. Next type of research literature are called scholarly books. And as it is being defined here, these are the books written by researchers and practitioners, mainly for use by other researchers and practitioners. So these kinds of scholarly books are commonly found on universities and libraries. So to understand this research literature, a literature review will be done. So why do we need to do a literature review? Because the purpose of this literature review is the same regardless of the topic or research method. It tests your own research question against what is already known about the subject. First, it's part of the whole. The outcome of your review is expected to demonstrate that you can systematically explore the research in your topic area, can read and critically analyze the literature in your discipline, and then use it appropriately to advance your own work, and have sufficient knowledge in the topic to undertake further investigation. Second, it's good for you. You improve your skills as a researcher. You become familiar with the discourse of your discipline and learn how to be a scholar in your field. You learn through writing your ideas and finding your voice in your subject area. You define, redefine, and clarify your research questions for yourself in the process. Third, it's good for your reader. Set the context for the topic and presents its significance. Identify what's important to know about your topics, including individual material, prior research, publications, organizations, and authors. Demonstrate relationships among prior research. Establish limitations of existing knowledge. Analyze trends in the topics, trends, and gaps in the literature. So, in order to understand why a literature review needs to be done, here are the list to understand it. To locate gaps in the literature of your discipline, to avoid reinventing the wheel, to carry on where others have already been, to identify other people working in the same field, to increase your breadth of knowledge in your subject area, to find the seminal works in your field, to provide intellectual context for your own work, to acknowledge opposing viewpoints, to put your work in perspective, to demonstrate you can discover and retrieve previous work in the area.
Referencing. Referencing means acknowledging the sources you have used in your writing. Including references helps you support your claims and ensures that you avoid plagiarism. So, alam naman natin siguro lahat. Alam naman siguro ng lahat yung plagiarism. There are many referencing styles, but they usually consist of two things: the citation and the reference list, or the bibliography. So, yung citation, wherever you refer to a source in your text, yun yun. Citation then is yung parang indicator dun sa mismong text na hindi sa author yung yung idea na yun. Ibig sabihin, na kinuha niya lang sa iba, or hindi naman kinuha actually. Pero parang let's say hiniram yung idea na yun at nilagay sa kanyang paper or article, ganon. So then the reference list or bibliography, ito naman yung listahan ng mga sources na ginamit natin sa buong paper. Yan. Usually nakalista siya alphabetically, pero meron ding mga formats or styles na hindi alphabetical yung ayos niya, kundi iba. Siguro numerically. Mamaya mali-discuss natin yung iba't ibang styles na yan. So, ayan. Referencing styles. There are 4 widely used referencing styles of conventions. They are called the MLA system, or the Modern Languages Association system, the APA system, or the American Psychological Association system, the Harvard system, and the MHRA, or the Modern Humanities Research Association system. So, if you are producing essays for a particular institution or even a particular department, make sure you know what system it is using. Your tutors or teachers may specify one of the 4 listed above, or they may use another one entirely. Some departments will produce sheets explaining which system they want you to use. So, nakadepende pa rin yan sa kung ano ang hinahanap ng professor, or sometimes nung sa school na. Yan. You can also find detailed guides to these systems in your institution's library, or syempre sa internet. So, doon na tayo sa MLA or the Modern Language Association. That style is most commonly used to write papers and cite sources within the liberal arts and humanities. MLA style features brief parenthetical citations in the text keyed to an alphabetical list of works cited that appears at the end of the work. So yung in-text citation ng MLA system, since parenthetical system siya, nakaparenthesis yon. The bracket in the body of the essay contains only the author's surname and the page number or numbers you are referring to. For example, after nung sentence, nandun yung parenthesis, then let's say Europeo 22. So yung 22 doon yun yung page number. Okay? So, marami pa yung parang variation. I don't know if variation is the right term, pero marami pa siya. Ito, tulad nung if your essay quotes from 2 or more works by the same author, then the bracketed reference should include a shortened version of the title to indicate which book is being referred to. So, ayun, ano doon, example na yun, um, yung after ng sentence, parenthesis ulit, then surname, then yung book title, tsaka yung page. Kunyari, Europeo, Electrical Engineering book, then page 26, ganun. So, ayan. Sa bibliography naman, kapag MLA, ito yan. May example tayo dito. Yan, ganito ang mangyari dyan. Author, ang format ng pagkakalagay ng author is last name first, then last name and first name. Yan, ganun. Tapos title of book must be italicized. City, publisher, year, tsaka medium. So, ito, may kita sa example, Platt Sylvia, yun yung author. The Bell Jar, yun yung title ng book, naka-italicize siya. Then, city is New York. Then, the publisher is Harper Perennial. Then, year is 2005, medium is print. So, ganito naman mangyayari kapag an article from a book or reference without author. So, ganito kapag nag-reference ka ng article sa isang book. The title of article must be in quotations, title of book, naka-italicized, editors if indicated, then city, publisher, year, and medium. So, ito may kita sa example, libertarianism, then yun yung title ng article. Since wala siyang author, hindi mo una wala yung author name doon sa simula. Then, after nun is Political Theories for Students. Yun yung title ng book. Naka-italicize siya kung makikita nyo. Then, editor. Yan, eds. Matthew Moschelli and Jamie Nose. Yan. Then, the city and publisher is Farmington Hills. MI. Then, Gale Group, Inc. Yun yung publisher. Yun, city tsaka publisher. Then, 2002 at print. Ito naman kapag book reference with author, article, and editor. So, ang format niya is author, last name, then first name, title ng article, must be in quotations, title of book, must be italicized, editor or editors if indicated, then number of volumes, kung maraming volume yung book na yon, then city, publisher, year, tsaka medium. So, kung mapapansin nyo, parang halos same lang sila ng structure, pero nadadagdagan lang since kasi yung isa, walang author, yung isa may author, article, tsaka editor, ganun. Yan. Yun yung example, may kita nyo sa baba nun. Yan. Basahin nyo na lang. Okay, next is kapag magazine or newspaper article naman, yan. Ganun pa rin, author, last name, first name pa rin. Then, title of article, ito naman is hindi naka-italicize pero naka-quotations. Then, title of newspaper or magazine must be italicized. So, yun yung naka-italicize, yung title ng newspaper or ng magazine. Then, date of magazine or newspaper must be in a day, month, year format. Then, page number or numbers. Tsaka yung medium. So, ayan, basahin nyo na lang yung example sa ibaba nun. Ayan. Then, next is yung newspaper or magazine article na galing naman sa website. So, last author name, last name, first name pa rin. Title of article, Um, Same as dun pa rin sa yung nasa taas kanina. Yun yung nasa taas. Then, title of newspaper or ayun, naka-italicized. Then, date of article, medium, and date of access. Nadagdagan lang siya. Kung papansin nyo, itong galing sa website, nadagdagan lang siya ng date of access. Tsaka kapag when it comes to date dito sa style na to, lagi siyang naka-day, month, year format. Yan, basahin nyo na lang example sa ibaba. Then, next naman tayo sa isa pang parang variation, website. So, kapag sa website kinuha yung idea, so author, last name, first name pa rin, title of article, date of last update, ayan, tulad nga ng sabi ko kanina, kapag date yung pinag-uusapan sa style na to, naka day, month, year yung format. Then, medium and date of access. So, yun yung example niya sa baba. Okay? Then, next naman is yung APA or the American Psychological Association style. The APA referencing style is an author date style. So, citation in the text consists of the author or authors and the year of publication given wholly or partly in round brackets. Use only the surname of the author or authors followed by a comma and the year of publication. So, ito yung commonly na ginagamit sa mga papers natin. So, okay. Yung APA is a parenthetical system pa rin, but the bracketed references in the body of your essay are the author's name, author's surname, and the date of publication, tsaka kung may page, kasama yung page dun sa dulo. For example, after nung sentence, parenthesis, Europeo 2022, Europeo, 2022, page, pero hindi buong page, P lang, P, then, yung number. Let's say, page 22, ganun. The reference always goes at the end of the sentence before the full stop. So, kapag sa bibliography, ito yung example niya, kung sa bibliography. Kasi, yung sinabi ko kanina is para sa in-text citation lang siya. So, kapag bibliography naman, ito, ganyan. Author, last name, then first initial lang. First initial lang yung sa first name. First name initial yon, hindi first initial lang. Then, yung year, title ng book, naka-italicized dapat, then city, tsaka publisher. For example, Platt S. 2005, The Bell Jar, New York, Harper Perennial. Ayan. Then, an article from a book or na walang author. Ganito siya, title of article, year, in editor, first name initial, then last name, tapos may ed sa dulo. Then, title of book, must be italicized, city, then publisher. So, ito yung example. Tignan nyo na lang din. Then, book or reference with author, article, and editor. So, ganon. Author, dito naman is last name, tapos first name initial pa rin. The title of article must be in quotations. Title of book must be italicized. Editors if indicated. Number of volumes, kung multi-volume set. Then, city, publisher, year, tsaka medium. So, ito example. Taylor JS, yun yung author. Tapos yung year, ayan. Euthanasia in J Cement Ed, yun yung editor. Social Issues in America, Volume 7, page 139 to 159, Armonk, New York, Sharpay reference. Yun yung year, tsaka yung, hindi year. Yung volume number, yung city, then yung publisher. Okay, next naman tayo sa Harvard system. The Harvard referencing style uses references in two places in a piece of writing, in the text and in a reference list at the end. In general, each author name that appears in the text must also appear in the reference list, and every work in the reference list must also be referred to in the main text. So, sa Harvard system naman, another parenthetical system ulit to, and the bracketed references in the body of your essay are the author's surname and the date of publication. Yan. The list of works, yun yung sa citation niya. The list of works at the end of the essay is headed references. The works listed in it appear in alphabetical order by the author's surname and follow the same format as the APA system. So, yun. Then, the MHRA, or the Modern Humanities Research Association system, is a set of guidelines for referencing commonly used in humanities subjects. In MHRA, sources are cited in footnotes, marked by superscript numbers in the text. Subsequent citations of the same source are shortened usually to just the author's last name and the page number. So, yung dito naman sa MHRA, kung papansin nyo, yun yung gumagamit ng superscript numbers. You may 1, for example, 1, 2, sa numbers na naka-superscript. And are linked to sequence of notes which appear either at the foot of the page or in a section at the end of the essay. The note contains the full reference for the book or article you are referring to. Okay. Yun. Basta yung may footnote, yung may superscript na number, yun yung MHRA system. Okay, so, yun yung 4 na common na ginagamit na referencing styles. Pero hindi lang yun yung referencing styles. Meron din tayong tinatawag na meron ding style dito yung IEEE or the Institute for Electrical and Electronics Engineer. So yung IEEE is a professional organization supporting many branches of engineering, computer science, and information technology. In addition to publishing journals, magazines, and conference proceedings, IEEE also makes many standards for a wide variety of industries. IEEE citation style includes in-text citations numbered in square brackets, which refer to the full citation listed in the reference list at the end of the paper. The reference list is organized numerically, not alphabetically. So, kung yung kaninang karamihan doon sa mga commonly used referencing styles, ang pag-organize nila ng references is by alphabetically. Dito naman sa IEEE is numerically. So, for more information about this citation style, meron tayong video about dyan. So, yeah.
In this presentation, you will learn the basics of how to create an in-text reference and a reference list in IEEE style. So, what is an IEEE style of referencing? IEEE stands for the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers. IEEE style is a numbered referencing style that uses citation numbers in the text of the paper, provided in square brackets. A full corresponding reference is listed at the end of the paper, next to the respective citation number. The IEEE style draws on the IEEE Editorial Style Manual, version 9, published in 2016. All sources of information, such as quotes or borrowed ideas, must be acknowledged in your writing. In the IEEE referencing style, a citation number is inserted in square brackets on the same line as the text at the point in your writing where you cite another author's work. This is known as an in-text citation. At the end of your work, the full reference details of the work are provided. The in-text citation numbers start at the number 1 and continue in the ascending order they appear throughout your writing, as in the example here. If you wish to refer to the same source several times, simply repeat the earlier citation number and then use the same number in all subsequent citations throughout the body of the paper. So, how do I format an in-text citation? When formatting your in-text reference, you need to consider the following. Are you paraphrasing or summarizing the words or ideas of others in your own words? Or are you quoting directly or copying word for word from a source? If paraphrasing or summarizing the ideas or opinions of others in your own words, include the citation number in square brackets within the text of your writing. Alternatively, a numerical citation may grammatically be treated as part of a sentence, as if it were a noun. If you wish to emphasize an author, your numerical citation may become author prominent. In this example, you can see that the numerical citation has been placed directly after the author's surname. Directly quoting from a source is similar to paraphrasing or summarizing, except you also need to include the page number or numbers directly after the quote and place single quotation marks around the direct quote. When citing more than one source at a time, the preferable way is to list each citation number separately with a comma or a dash between each citation. Although, as seen in some literature, multiple sources can also be provided this way. It is important to note that IEEE style does not allow for the use of secondary sources. If you want to use the ideas of an author referred to in another source, then you must locate the original source of this information and cite the original source. The next component of IEEE referencing is to compile a reference list. A reference list includes full details of all your in-text citations and is listed on a separate page at the end of your assignment. At the top of this page, you must use the heading References.
Referencing is an important part of academic work. It puts your work in context, demonstrates the breadth and depth of your research, and acknowledges other people's work. You should reference whenever you use someone else's idea. Okay. Why reference? Referencing correctly helps you to avoid plagiarism by making it clear which ideas are your own and which are someone else's. Shows your understanding of the topic. Gives supporting evidence for your ideas, arguments, and opinions. Allows others to identify the sources you have used. So, itong pagre-reference, nakatulong din siya sa hindi lang sa pagbibigay credits, pero makakatulong din siya sa pagbibigay ng pagpapatibay ng point mo. 'Di ba? Since you are using information that is nagaling sa iba, parang nakakatulong siya para mas patibay pa yung point mo, parang ganon. Yun yung parang isa pang natutulong nitong referencing. So, when to reference? Whenever you use an idea from someone else's work, for example, from a journal, article, textbook, or website, you should cite the original author to make it clear where that idea came from. So, as much as possible, tulad ng mga, iwasan natin yung paggamit ng CTTO kasi hindi naman siya, tama ba? CTTO nga ba? Tama. Kasi hindi naman siya properly na nakakapagbigay credits doon sa mismong author, di ba? So, this is the case regardless of whether you have paraphrased, summarized, or directly quoted their work. Yeah, this is a key part of good practice in academic writing. So, always remember to reference yung mga ideas or information na nakuha lang natin sa internet. Yan. Para let's practice that kind of etiquette sa academic writing. Tsaka always remember that give credit where credit is due. Yan. And that is all of the report of our group about the RRL. That's all. Thank you.